How did you get into doing cannabis cookies?
Well, it's basically my mother, in a sense, because I was still out producing shows after The Apprentice. And my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I kind of, at the time, understood the benefit of cannabis. And when a loved one's going through chemotherapy and all the, all the crap that you have to deal with that,
Yeah.
you kind of almost think of anything. And I wasn't a big consumer at the time, but I just knew that there were benefits to it. So I just said, Mom, you should try some. Cannabis, I can get you an edible that you can eat and, see if it helps. And so I bought her some gummies. Just at I got my medical card and went down and bought her some gummies.
Right.
And she loved them. So that's when I kind of was like, all right, well, let me see what I can do to make these better. And a friend of mine said, well, your cookies are pretty good. Why don't you do something with that and with her, make some cookies for her because she likes those.
So you already were making cookies?
I was, yeah. I've been baking the chocolate chip cookie since I was probably, 8 or 9, a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my grandma's recipe, and I just took it at some point and became the family, cookie maker. And the first time I made her recipe, I actually screwed it up, but it was better. Like everybody loved them better than Grandma's original recipe because I messed up some of the the ingredients that I used. So then I just kept with mine because everybody loved it, and I made that cookie for 40 years, the same one, just over and over and over again. So whenever we had a family thing, everybody would be like, is Kevin making cookies? And even when I was 12, I'm making cookies for the family thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. So then I decided, you know what? Let me try to figure out how to put the cannabis into these cookies. And it was quite an ordeal. I mean, the first few that I was sending to my mom were probably not the best, but it had the cannabis in it to help her.
What method of infusion were you using to begin with?
Well, I mean, I started bone basics, like right to the, literally I was not a massive consumer, so I went to some of my friends who consumed a lot more than me and asked them, how do I do it? And they said, well, get a crock pot and get some flour and throw it in there with some butter and let it percolate and then filter it out and throw that butter in.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I started doing it. So you don't know how much is going in, you don't know, there's lots of things. And the flavor of it, destroyed the cookies. They tasted like eating grass. And the consistency of them changed, the everything. And so I set out to say, all right, I got to get, by keeping this in, the cannabis in the cookies, I have to find a way to make these a lot better. And slowly but surely, I whittled away at it. And I started doing little tricks and removal of the THC out of the flour, boiling it first, taking out a lot of the chlorophylls, lots of things. I tried everything until I finally got to the oil. And it was about that time that people were starting to make really, half decent distillate. And so somebody introduced me to it and said, you should try this. And I'm like, well, I mean, this stuff is like even a thicker sap. How the hell am I going to get this into the damn cookies, right? It just doesn't dump out. So I had to figure that out. And I just, I self-taught myself on how to get through that whole process and marry it to the butter and, the whole thing. And then that really changed the dynamic of the cookie. It corrected all the problems I was having, and you were able to use much less of it.
Sure.
And so you could continue the quality of the cookie without compromising that because of the distillate was less invasive. Let's put it that way.
And they helped with your mom?
Yeah, she loved them, and she still to this day uses them.
So you
mostly
were using
with the CBD now.
Oh, okay.
Because I just for her, I got CBD, and we do have them, but we just don't sell them much. A CBD cookie. So I put 25 milligrams because she played with the milligrams for a long time and figured out 50 was her golden spot.
Yeah.
So 2 of these little cookies a day, and she loves it, and it replaces her narco. In a sense. Sometimes she still needs the narco because the pain's just is intense. But she says about half the time she reaches for the cookies now.
How is she now?
Fine, yeah, she got through it. She fought it and beat it, and had some other medical problems in that time. It was a touch and go time. She was battling breast cancer, and then a couple days later had a stroke. So that sidelined her, and then she had to put off all the treatment on the cancer because the stroke trumped that. No pun intended. And so but she got through it all, and she got back probably 98% of all of her function and everything.
Oh, great.